I'd like to talk about specific games for a second, and I'll use myself as an example here. So, in the middle of 2020, we were kind of just coming out of lockdown. I had a couple deaths in the family that were overseas that I was not able to go home for. I was living in a pretty awful relationship, and we were kind of together 24/7 because of this thing. So, like, the pressure cooker of my life, I don't think has ever been so severe. And I found myself playing this superhero fight game on my iPhone, and it wasn't until I had spent like a few €100, which is completely beyond me. Like I'm not a gambler. I'm not someone that ever makes impulsive sort of spending decisions like that. And so I remember I pressed the button and bought whatever it was for that game, and I thought, oh shit, like it was kind of like I almost dropped the phone. I was so shocked by my own actions. And I've always thought about that because I had to delete the phone. Sorry, I had to delete the game at that time and really think about, like, okay, what am I not dealing with in my life right now, like maybe emotionally or whatever, that I'm seeking this validation and positive feedback loop from this game that's so powerful. I'm willing to spend real money on it, which I've always said is absurd. So what sort of games are you seeing that are producing this sort of feedback loop that is more akin to, obviously not a drug response because that's a more of a chemical change, but like what sort of games are having these sort of negative loops that continue for people that make addiction possible?
So in the end, I think what we need to say really is that it's not necessarily particular types of games that are addictive, but it's, people's behaviors that might be addictive in the end. And there
Right.
are certain games that have certain characteristics that may be associated more with problematic behaviors, such as excessive gaming, addictive gaming. And research that we've done also at Nottingham Trent University has shown that those kinds of games are often massively multiplayer online games. Those games tend to be endless, so you can play them anytime. You can log on day and night. There will always be something going on,
Yeah.
and they never end because there's always something, some other thing that you can achieve in the game. Yeah, so different kinds of goals that you can engage in with the game as well. They have important social elements as well. So building some sort of a community or a grouping within the game is very often very much encouraged in the form of clans, guilds, etc. That's an important element, and the possibility of connection with anyone all over the world. And as you've already very rightly mentioned, engaging in those kinds of games allows us to have those rewards present very quickly. In the form of achievements and as well as recognition in the game. All of these things are significantly more easily to obtain in comparison to outside of the game. So you might be working on your career for 10 years and you put a lot of effort into it, etc. And in comparison, in the game, you spend several weeks playing day and night, and you become a hero. So you're a big guy within your guild, within your clan. They are all looking up to you because you've developed all these wonderful skills. You've got all the great items and the gear and everything that's needed in the game. So the achievement and the recognition is much more easily obtainable, which, all of those kinds of characteristics might indicate really that those kinds of games who are able to give you those kinds of rewards are potentially, can be potentially more addictive to some people who have certain vulnerabilities, who may be in a position in their life where the game can more easily take over other aspects of their lives, like their relationships, their careers, their school performance, etc.